Live from WFSB, Connecticut's most watched local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 5.
First tonight at 5, a weather alert. Water everywhere.
Neighborhoods across our shoreline have been flooded because of heavy downpours. Drivers have become stuck. Even this mall was evacuated because of water, and the problems are not over yet.
That's right. Let's look live from our iCam in New London right now. Gloomy skies. You see how drenched everything is out there. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Denise DeCenzo.
And I'm Dennis House. We have team coverage this Friday night with Channel 3's Jill Konopka in Milford, where the first floor of the mall actually had to close.
And Channel 3's Matthew Campbell just arrived in hard-hit Stratford. We'll hear more from him shortly.
But first, let's check in with the chief, Bruce DePrest, who's here now to tell us how long this threat will last. Bruce.
It's going to last a while longer, and wow, what a day, especially for southern portions of Connecticut, where up to 4 inches of rain fell today. We have a weather alert that's in effect for eastern Middlesex County and all of New London County. That is a flood advisory, and it's in effect until 5:15. Here's early warning pinpoint Doppler, and basically we got rain scattered throughout the state, but the biggest batch of rain is right there in southeastern Connecticut, Uncasville. You're getting drenched. This rain is coming down so hard that it's making driving dangerous. Ledyard, Jewett City, Voluntown, Plainfield, you're all getting some very heavy rain right now, and also some hefty rain along the I-95 corridor around Old Lyme on into Madison. Let's widen out the shot. I want to show you how much rain parts of the state got today. We're going to focus in, first of all, on the New Haven area, and we're going to focus in on the rainfall totals there. And look at this, an amazing, right there around New Haven, 2 to 3 to 4 inches of rain, and working our way over to the western along coastal sections of Fairfield County, right there around Bridgeport. We're also getting reports here of anywhere from 2 to 3 to as much as 4 inches of rain. Let's come back to the statewide view and come in to what we're seeing on Doppler radar. And again, we got a lot of showers still dotting the state right now, some of it producing heavy rainfall. So we're not out of the woods quite yet, but things will improve a little bit. Coming up, I'll let you know what's in store for the upcoming weekend as we wrap up the month of September.
All right, Bruce, thank you. Now continuing our team coverage on that flash flooding that has hit Stratford hard. We have been getting one picture after another of roads flooded and blocked off, cars trying to get around any way they can. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell just arrived in Stratford a few minutes ago and has a live look at the problems there. Matthew?
Well, we are practically surrounded by water here in Stratford. You can see here businesses have been paralyzed as the waters here in the parking lot kept right up to their front door and actually crept inside, and that shut them down for the day. Now the roads at the height of rush hour, they are clogged, and this is why. You're taking a live look here at West Broad Street right now, and this part is completely flooded out. So it's making it tough on drivers because they're forced to cut through downtown just to get to the other side. So definitely an inconvenience, but earlier today, these heavy rains spelled disaster for cars. Let's take a look at eyewitness photos of the scene. I would say just about maybe an hour ago here on West Broad, cars were stuck and actually had to be towed out of here because these waters were just so deep. It came to the point where they flooded out the engines of these cars. Now, these cars have been pulled out, but as we continue to deal with more rain out here right now, this is just going to spell disaster for the commute home throughout the rest of the night. That is the latest live out here in Stratford. Matthew Campbell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And this was the scene earlier today in West Haven. The video sent in by a viewer. This is Campbell Avenue. You can see the cars having a pretty hard time getting through the flooded street there.
We'll have updates throughout the newscast. You can also check out our website all night and all weekend. Of course, it's WFSB.com. Now, our other big story tonight, new details continue to come out in that terrible shooting that left a teenager dead and his father absolutely heartbroken. Eyewitness News has learned that the 15-year-old who was shot by his father had been adopted from a broken home. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kim Lucy has been in New Fairfield all day. She joins us there live now with how the community is coping today. Kim?
Yeah, as you would imagine, this is still fresh on everybody's minds here today, not only here at the high school, but also around the whole town as well. Everybody's still in disbelief over how this could happen here. I spoke to a lot of the students here. They say many of them showed up to school today wearing black. Also, a lot of them spent time in the library because that's where they could speak to grief counselors.
Our principal came on and was like telling everyone to support each other and like be there for each other, and that was a really hard time.
Like many students at New Fairfield High and like so many residents in this town of less than 15,000 people, Jocelyn Iskarski knew both Tyler and Jeffrey Giuliano well.
Mr. G's a good guy. I had him when I was in 5th grade. So Tyler was in my class in 5th grade when I had him.
She says Tyler was adopted by Giuliano 3 years later and became part of the family. Residents tell us the 15-year-old was from a broken home and raised mostly by his grandmother until she became too ill to care for him.
He's a great student. He got straight A's. He barely did anything wrong in high school. He was one of the nicest kids you would ever meet.
Now everyone is trying to figure out why Tyler would try what turned out to be a fatal break-in attempt. Police say early yesterday morning, the teen dressed in all black put a ski mask over his face and tried to break into his aunt's house next door on Meeting House Hill Circle. She called her brother Jeffrey, Tyler's adopted father, who grabbed his gun and came over to help. Now, police say he confronted the intruder outside, and when the masked teen threatened him with a knife, Jeffrey fired that gun. Police say the 5th grade teacher had no idea who he had shot until they came and identified the intruder as his own son. Parents here don't know how he could be handling that reality.
I'm a dad, you know. If God forbid I hurt my own daughter or hurt my, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to live. So I don't know how he's coping.
The state medical examiner determined today Tyler died of multiple gunshot wounds. Jeffrey is not facing any charges at this time. Police say they expect their investigation to last about a week into this incident. They say, among other things, looking at whether or not that gun that Jeffrey fired was registered. Now, I spoke with several residents today who tell me this town was already on edge from another incident here earlier this week when another break-in and severe assault happened here in New Fairfield. We're going to talk more about that coming up tonight at 6. For now, though, we are live in New Fairfield with the mobile newsroom. Kim Lucy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Kim. Now back to the wet weather that walloped Milford. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Jill Konopka is there tonight with a live look at the big mess there. Jill?
Well, Denise, certainly a soaker of a day today. Here's the situation at the Westfield, Connecticut Post Mall. As you can see, it does get busy on a Friday night, but today they actually had to close earlier because of some backed up stormwater drains on the lower level. Now, the second floor was reopened less than an hour later, but mall officials tonight are telling us that the mall on the lower level will remain closed for the rest of the evening. The second floor is open, as well as the movie theaters and all of the anchor stores, but there's no word just yet when the mall will reopen. They're asking people to check their Facebook page later on, and we can tell you we've seen some wild wet weather situations throughout the day today.
Seen a rain that strong, you know, my God, I don't think I've ever seen one quite that bad.
No. The rain rattled much of Milford today, flooding parts of busy Route 1, also stopping some drivers dead in their tracks trying to get off the highway. A short time later, they trickled through.
I didn't see the water.
But on the other side of 95, the flooded out on-ramp heading south proved too much for this Mercedes.
I got all the way almost to the end and it stopped. And then the guy pushed me back, which I don't know if that was a good or bad thing, because now I got water all in my car, so I have to get my car checked. This is bananas. It's bananas.
Are you worried your motor's going to be flooded out?
I'm scared.
And despite the damage to that car, another tried to conquer the flooded road but failed and started floating away. Luckily, a couple of Good Samaritans, one the owner of a nearby garage and the other a former fireman, stepped in to make the dramatic rescue. You couldn't just sit there and watch it?
No. I'm a volunteer firefighter, or I was for a while. I can't let somebody do that. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's somebody in the car. There's too much water. No common sense.
And again, the first level of the mall remaining closed at least through the rest of the night as crews inside work to clean up that inch or two of water that is pooled on there. The second floor, mall officials telling us, remains open. Now, coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, we actually spoke with one business person who is having a good day because of all this wet weather. We'll explain that coming up. For now, reporting live at the mobile newsroom tonight, Jill Konopka, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
There's some eye-opening images. All right, Jill, thank you. Also new at 5, a serious fire in Newington has put an elderly woman in the hospital. Crews got the call just before 2 for a fire at the home at the intersection of Walsh and Wilson Avenues in Newington. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Len Bestoff is live with the mobile newsroom with what we know so far. Len?
Well, Dennis, take a look here. Still quite a scene at the intersection of Walsh and Wilson Avenues. You can see some family members and friends have arrived here just a little while ago. A lot of hugs, a few outward cries we were hearing because a 70 to 80-year-old woman was pulled out of this building, rescued, brought to safety, and we learned just a short time ago that she's now breathing on her own. When fire crews arrived at this Newington home, they found heavy smoke on the second floor where there was an in-law apartment. There, in a kitchen, they found a woman estimated to be in her 70s or 80s.
The initial crew that went in had a tough time. Actually, one firefighter was alone, went in, located her, had a very difficult time removing her. A second firefighter came up and assisted.
Firefighters were able to put out the fire soon after that, a fire the chief described as small. At this point, the chief adds he is not aware of any other injuries besides the homeowner. He believes this fire was accidental and started on the stove. Now, even with those conclusions by the chief, you can see right here that the Connecticut State Police Office of the State Fire Marshal has been called in to assist. Just they want to make absolutely sure what their conclusion is as to how this fire began, what its cause and origin was. And probably this is going to be a scene for some time, as you can see yellow tape around the house. And again, that State Fire Marshal crime unit, State Fire Marshal unit just getting here with their big truck where they can process various pieces of evidence. We're live with the mobile newsroom in Newington. Len Bestoff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Len. The case against a New Haven man accused of beating his 9-year-old stepdaughter and handcuffing her to a radiator. That case was continued in court today. Craig Williams was arrested after police got a report of a runaway earlier this month. They found the girl in Edgewood Park with bruises all over her body. Police say this abuse may have been going on for years.
Still ahead, all new on Eyewitness News at 5 this Friday. New details about the suspect in the movie theater massacre. We'll hear what got him banned from the University of Colorado and why some now say it could have been a red flag had police noticed.
And a groundbreaking treatment for people who have lost their vision. It is helping patients overseas when we could get the procedure here in the U.S.
And new at 5:30, a local official accused of using his position to steal from the town and make improvements to his own home. And that's not all. Hear what else he may have done to reports about your water quality.
And new at 6, major changes coming to Mohegan Sun, including hundreds of layoffs, a restaurant closing, and a new leader, how it could impact customers.